Hey, lovely people, how you doing? Good to have you here. Today we're going to talk about time. It's the next episode of before we get to talking about love. We got a few more to go. We got patience. We got humbleness, and then we're going to talk about love. But first, we're going to start off with time. So today's all about time. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for listening to this message. I just want to say again, these messages are from Spirit, and I'm really privileged to have the opportunity to share these messages with you guys. So thank you for taking part and listening to this. It's quite a journey because it's a journey for myself as I receive these messages. I have a lot of deep understanding and change in my life because of these messages I received from Spirit. And I hope it's the same for you guys. And it's in this way that I really feel to bring these messages to you from Spirit. These are true messages. These are without an agenda or a direction in any which way. These are just pure and messages from Spirit, and you'll feel it. If you feel these messages, you'll know that this is coming from a place that is true, that is real, that is light. So welcome again, guys. Let's get to it. The first thing I'd really like to do with you guys is remember, like we did the last episode, we create a little circle with our finger around us. So give yourself this moment to listen to this, not in a supermarket or where you're going to be busy, maybe and interacting with people, but give yourself just a little bit of space and time to listen to this, because I promise you it will really be worthwhile to do that. So imagine with your finger a little circle around you. Just draw a little circle around you, and this is your space for listening to this message. And we're going to just do 3 deep breaths. So in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you breathe in, through your lungs into your heart. So bring your attention to your heart when you do this. So in and out. And when you breathe out, let your shoulders go, relax your shoulders, just shake out your arms and your hands and your legs as well if you feel. And one more. And one last one. There you go. Happy days. Good to have you here. Shall we do it? Okay. So we got to understand time. And spiritually, how are we going to do that? Well, there's kind of 2 understandings of time we have in modern society, really. There is the spiritual aspect, and then there is the clock. I'm going to call it the clock. It's not really time. It's a clock, and we have that for almost most things we do in modern life these days, whether we got to go to work or whether we got to check the cooker, check the oven, or it's a TV program that's going to be on, or we got to go collect someone from a train station, or we got to get somewhere. It's all looking at a clock and really allowing that to be in a process with us that really, to be truthful, takes us away from time. It doesn't keep us in time, because what it's really doing is it's like a big flood of energy towards a particular time, and it's not allowing everything in its orderly fashion. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the real essence and meaning of time, because once you get to know this, you're going to get to realize that time has got a real magic behind it. And that's really what I want to impart and kind of share with you today, is to understand really the magic of time, the essence, the purity, the light of time. So what do I mean? I mean that time has its own way, its own rhythm, its own flow. And to really understand this is to understand when the sun comes up. When the sun comes up, the birds start chirping. trees and leaves open up. And then that sun has a midday point, and then you know when it's afternoon without even looking at a clock, because you see, you feel the energy of the sun, and and the position of the sun, and so you're in afternoon, and then you come to dusk and sunset, and then we have the moon, and everything's got its natural order. But to really understand this is to understand the natural order of things, but not just in this big way, but to understand it's actually broken up. The rhythm and flow is really broken up into ways like we have things that happen during the day. So the time at which the birds sing in the morning, or in the afternoon, or in the evening, along with the sun that comes and sets. And that's a daily routine. That's a daily order, the natural order of the day. The way the flowers open during the day and then they close near the evening. It's the natural order of the day. And then there's longer natural orders, like the rate at which a tree grows. And for us, it's also understanding when we are born and when we die. It's on a much longer scale of understanding time. And again, that's in a natural order. You don't look at a clock and go, okay, it's my time to croquet. Goodbye, and you lay on the bed and you die. It doesn't work that way, because you are in the natural order of things. You've been included within that. So what are we doing with the clock? So we got to understand this clock, and we got to understand the natural order of things. And time helps us to realize the natural order of things and us within that space. The natural order of things and time, it doesn't just... now, if you think about the two different things here, with time, things don't happen in the way that we have the clock in our lives. So let's think about the waves on a shore. And it's the moon. When the moon comes, the oceans and the water, it swells towards the moon. And now's a really good time to talk about that, because now is a time when we have a really strong moon cycle, and we're in a full moon right now. It's Scorpio. And so to realize that when the moon comes and it's out in the ocean, the water recedes from the shores and it goes towards the moon, to where the moon is. But also to understand you are 70% water. So, there's a chemical reaction, there's an energetical reaction that you're having to the natural order of things. And it's really a good way to understand you're included within this earth and its inhabitants, with the birds, the bees, the animals, the dogs, the cats, the lions, the jaguars, the snakes, the eagles, the condors, all of it. You are a part of this natural order. And so, it's not like 7 p.m. And the waves are like, oh my God, yeah, it's 7 p.m. we got to go out. And so what do we do? What does it do? Like, all the water just recedes from the shore, and it's just like, bam, okay, out, gone to the sea, gone to the ocean. And then all your shores are just left naked with no water. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't happen that way. The natural order and flow and rhythm of the earth shows you how respectful it is to time. Those waves, when they go from the shores, they go slowly. They come and they go in their natural way, but slowly, more and more, until they're all out to ocean, until all those waves and that water is out to ocean. And this happens over hours. It doesn't just happen at 6 p.m., bam, and it's done, and then comes this massive wave of energy and wind, and whew, everything's gone. But our understanding of living by the clock is what does that. And so we have to be very careful by living by the clock, because what we're really doing when we're doing this is we are accumulating a massive amount of energy to that one point. Let's say it's you're going to get up in the morning. No, let's say you're going to go for an appointment. You got an appointment in town. You got to be there. It's at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And what are you doing? You're gonna get ready at 2. Maybe you got a bit late, and you're like, oh my God, okay, right, I've got to get in the car now. I've got to rush. I'm gonna get late. I'm gonna miss this appointment. And you're putting all your focus and all your energy into this 3 p.m. Yeah, and it's not even, well, I'll get there maybe a few minutes early and I can chill, but you're still rushing. Or maybe now you're late and it's like, oh, I gotta get there. It's all this attention, all this energy that you are pushing into this 1 second. It's not even 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. It's this 1 second, this moment of time, and you're rushing all this energy into it. And what you're really doing in that moment is you're creating a crack. You're creating a distance between your place in the natural order of everything and you living by this clock. And so we have to be careful, because this crack is what separates us from the magic of time. It separates us from learning. It separates us from light. It separates us from our own magic and the true understanding of ourselves in the flow of everything. Because when we understand ourselves in the flow of everything, then we start to realize the universe has got your back. The universe has got you. So imagine we're going to do this 3 p.m. a whole different way. Imagine, okay, we got a 3 p.m. appointment. And we get in the car and we're running late. But we're just going to say, well, I've set an intention for 3 p.m. and now we'll see what happens. What happens is you're allowing yourself into the natural process and order of time. You're allowing yourself back in with consciousness. You're allowing yourself to be a part of everything again. And when you do that, what you're really doing in that moment is you're not in a tunnel vision of, I've got to get there, I've got to get there. You're in the natural order of everything. So you're allowing consciousness to guide you in a moment. You're creating a moment within which you are with consciousness. And she's going to take you on this really beautiful journey. And maybe in that car, instead of stressing and listening to like really crazy rock music, you're going to look outside the window. Maybe you're going to see a friend, or you're going to see a really beautiful part of the road, or a sign or something that you've never seen before, because you're allowing yourself to take your attention off a particular time, and you're allowing your attention to be in a moment that is with consciousness. So you see, it's a much, much different thing. It's a much different thing. And actually, I think it's Professor Alan Watts says this really beautifully. He says, we've really forgotten about the journey, and we have to think about the journey of life in a way that is like a piece of music. Because we're always trying to get somewhere, we're always trying to get to something, get to the end point. And if that was a piece of music, you would only ever listen to the finale. You would only listen to the last bit of that music, because you would be like, ta-da! Okay, good day, happy days. But you don't. You'll listen to that song from the beginning to the end. It's a journey. And that's exactly the understanding of time, because you create a moment, and in that moment is you. And it's a journey, and if you let it, it will guide you, and it will show you. It's really beautiful this way. So understand time this way. Understand time in a way that time is a journey. You are not the creators and makers of time. It's already here. You are a part of that process of time in a way that it's here to teach you. It's here to teach you really it's beautiful magic if you allow it. You know, the other part of time is so this then leads you on to understanding the magic of moments. In that same way, that journey that we talk about, to understand another part of the magic of time is to understand, you know, when you've had a moment, you can think back to the middle of that moment and what was happening. You can think back to the beginning of that moment and the end of that moment. And see, when you think like this, each one of those resides in you. It's like, in a way, understanding time travel. When we think of time travel, we think, oh yeah, I want to go to the future and maybe get the lottery results or something. I don't know. Find somebody or experience something again or experience something new. Or it's not really that way. To understand time travel is to understand our lives are not linear, nor is time. Time is not linear. It's not 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s like this, like of your life. The truth is, time is like this. This is your 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s. And it's got another axis. And this is called time. And what happens is, let's say you're 20 or 30 or 40 right now. You are traveling time with all of those parts of you, all of that, those moments in time traveling with you. And this is the understanding of part of spiritual healing work, is that you carry your ancestry as well with you, but you're able to access your 10s or your teens or your 20s, 30s, 40s. You're able to go back in time, see something, reconcile it, clear it, and that affects not just you here, but your whole lineage. It affects your time before that, and it affects your time after that. And when you start to understand time this way and traveling through time this way, then you really start to understand the magic of time. It's a really, really beautiful way to understand time and her magic and her moments, and that you're included within this. You're included with consciousness. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself moments. Have a goal of getting somewhere at a certain time on a clockwise, but understand that's not the be all and end all, because there's a whole bunch of messages up until that moment that are for you, that have been created for you, that consciousness is waiting for you to pick up on, that consciousness is waiting for you to understand. It's the journey, and time really helps us to understand this. So I hope you like this understanding of time. I hope this really resonates with you. Guys, you know, we don't, how can I put this? If you resonate with this, guys, please share these messages. These are messages from spirit. These are messages from medicine. It's a real privilege to share these with you guys. But share these to your friends. Share these with your family. These are really beautiful, uplifting messages. I hope you feel. There's a donate button at the bottom. There's a Facebook link. There's a YouTube link. So please share across everything you can, and an Instagram link as well. Share away. If you feel to donate, thank you very much. Take care. And the next one we're going to be talking about, guys, is patience. And patience is really interesting, because patience really, when you understand you're in the domain, you're in the middle of time, and she's all around you, taking you in this journey, in this moment, then you start to understand patience is what comes over or kind of connects really symbiotically with time. And patience is really a teacher. a real teacher, like a master plan. Patience is a real teacher, and I've been getting a lot of downloads about it, patience. So that's the next one. Until next week, guys, I love you. Take care. Thank you for listening. I love you all. Aho metakyo ayasin. Thank you for giving yourself this time. Speak soon. Bye.